Greetings, coffee lovers. I'm back. After 6 months of using this Behmor 1600 plus roaster, I'm back for that 6-month review to tell you the pros, the cons, and if I would indeed purchase this roaster again. The number one and most positive thing about this machine, the biggest pro, is if you use the manuals that they give you that comes in the box, as well as the manual that you can get online in PDF, and follow those roasting instructions based on the area of the world, the country of origin, where the beans are coming from, and follow their guidelines, you will get a perfect roast almost every time. The thing that I've noticed, the difference between the manual that you get in the box and the manual you get online, there's a little bit more in-depth way to roast, especially when it comes to the programming. As you see here, you have different programs, program 1 through 5. And for like the beans I roasted today, some Brazilians, you hit a P3. But then in the PDF online, it tells you to hit P3, then C. If you do that, it gives you a little bit more minutes on the time. It goes up to 21:30. If you stick with that time, within 15 to 30 seconds, you're going to be hitting first crack, plus or minus usually 15, 30, 45 seconds before you hit the C button. And then the first crack will happen, and then you go ahead and hit the C button. I usually never go too far over that. I've never gone under that based on looking at the beans, but there's been a lot of times, I would say 90% of the times, I hit it for another 15 to 30 to 45 seconds. The reason why I do that is because I really like a good dark roast, full city plus. So I usually just go a little bit farther. The only problem with going just a little bit farther, based on your country of origin, like in Indonesia or Southeast Asian, you have to really watch it, because sometimes you'll get in a second crack and it'll darken up just a little bit too quickly. Knowing that once it goes in the cooling cycle, it's going to continue to roast just a little bit as it cools down. That was the number one pro. Use the manual, use their settings based on the country of origin, and you'll get a great roast. Pro number 2, this machine is so easy to maintain. Follow their directions as well. Get out the simple green and clean it just as the manual says. In fact, what I have found the most helpful is to wipe it down with some simple green each and every time, especially on the window here. This window here gets so gummed up, especially after you're roasting some real dark beans. So just make sure, get some simple green on a paper towel, wipe it down each time after you roast, and it maintains very well. If you do that on a regular basis, every time you roast, you have no problems keeping it clean. Now also, after, I would say, 10, 12, 15, 20 roasts, it's going to get pretty gummed up here in the back. So back in the back here, you see that the screen's here, there's a fan inside. Take this apart. Clean it up real good, but it comes apart real easy and goes back together real easy. So know that it's easy to maintain. Just use a simple green and wipe it off, and it cleans up very good. So cleaning and maintaining the machine is very simple. So those are the 2 big pros that I found with this machine. It just works, and it works well. There's no having to fiddle with it. I've never tried the manual settings. I've only stuck with the manual, and it's always worked really well. So if you stick with that, you'll have a great success with the machine. Now, there is a few cons with the machine. I would say the number one con that we have with this machine is the smoke. They tell you never roast outside or in a garage. I roast in my garage. I know the manual says don't do that, and I put it close to the door and I roast, but the smoke comes off, especially in the cooling cycle. It's going to smoke a lot. I can't imagine ever using this in the house. My wife already complains about the smoke and the smell in the garage. I can't imagine what she would say if I ever brought this in the house and tried to roast some beans. So Just make sure you're there to maintain and watch it at all times. So I would say that's the biggest con of the machine. The second biggest con of the machine goes back to the maintenance. Now, like I said, it's real easy to maintain. But when you do the deep clean of this machine, and when you take off the back, inside there's a fan that you can't remove. And in order to get there and clean off its blades, which it gets pretty dirty, as you can't really get to it, is to take some Q-tips with some simple grain to clean it. It can be done. It takes some time. Just take your time when you're doing it. But that's another con when you're cleaning the machine. The only other con I would say is this tray. This tray, after a while, gets pretty stained up. I've tried to clean it, it's not coming clean. And when you place it back in the machine, sometimes I have some problems. Those screens in the back, if they're off in any way, and that lip on the edge, especially as you see as I'm trying to pull it out, it kind of sticks. These little lips here on the edge, sometimes they get a little bit bent. You got to bend them and pinch those in because they'll get caught as you're putting it in. It gets caught on the screen there in the back. But overall, if you maintain it that way, there's usually no problem whatsoever. So that's the pros. That's the cons of this machine. Would I purchase this Behmor machine again based on the price? Yes. I would definitely purchase this machine again. It has been a great roaster. I've stuck to the manual. I've stuck to the instructions of what they tell me to do. And from that, I always get a very good roast. I've never gone overboard. I've never burnt beans to where I couldn't use them. But each and every time that I've used the manual and stuck to what they say to do, I always get a good roast. It seems a little pricey at $3.69, but I want to give a big shout out to Behmor Coffee, who I bought it from. I purchased it from them for $3.69 6 months ago. They sent out 8 pounds of beans for free, and I used those up. Every time I've ordered green beans from them, they come fast. There is a shipping charge involved when they ship them out to you, but they come quickly to your house. And each and every time I've roasted their beans, it gives some of the best crema for my espresso maker. Big shout out to that small business in Madison, Wisconsin, Behmor Coffee. Definitely look into their package for their Behmor roaster. Definitely purchase some green beans for them. I think they have great pricing and they always have a good stock. So big shout out to them and for their great patronage to me through the roaster and through the continuous support of their green beans. So that's it. 6 months later, I would buy it again, definitely. If you have any questions about this review or any more questions about my time with the Behmor roaster, just put in a question below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Enjoy your coffee and God bless.